Yo, what's up, everybody? It's Austin here, or Luna. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Monday. Wait, no, it's not Monday. What is it today? Hold on. Oh, it's Tuesday. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Tuesday. If that doesn't say how bad my sleep schedule is, I don't know what does. I just woke up. It's 5:30. I didn't know what day it was. I am a mess. Anyway, today's story time is a pretty good one in my opinion. Pretty crazy one. It's one from back when I lived in LA. It's really good. It's crazy. It's wild. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of little stories in one. It's going to be a long one. I hope you enjoy it. Strap in. And yeah, man, let's jump into it. So today's story time all takes place back when I lived in LA. I lived in LA, I believe, for 2 years, maybe just under or over. I moved out there when I was 18, and, I really liked living there. I'm not going to lie. I really enjoyed it. There was a lot of great things about living there. However, there was also a lot of terrible things about living there. For example, everything there is like $1 billion. It's really expensive. My apartment would almost catch on fire like once a week because wildfires were just always happening there. Earthquakes also sucked. Didn't like those very much. And yeah, when I'd go outside and like take a deep breath, it felt like I was breathing in 13 cigarettes at once because it was just always smoky and smoggy and gross. But as for the good things about living there, that shit was beautiful. Palm trees, mountains, sun, beaches. Yeah, it's hard to be in a bad mood on a fucking beach. I love that place. Where I live now doesn't really have that nice of beaches. I mean, we have beaches, but compared to LA beaches and California beaches, anything over there, it sucks balls, okay? It's pretty ass. I went to the beach here a couple days ago and I got attacked by seagulls. Yeah, my girlfriend like put her ice cream down on the ground to like give to a seagull and they all flew over, like 50 of them, and attacked us. So, yeah, beaches here aren't very fun to me. Now I'm getting sidetracked. I'm getting off topic. But another thing I really like about LA was the houses there. There's some really cool looking houses there that you wouldn't find in like an area where I grew up. Very modern, very just like cool, unique architecture. And a lot of them are up in the hills, which is cool. And sometimes in LA, when I would get bored and I wanted to be stupid with my money, I would rent these houses on Airbnb for like a day or two. Sometimes a little longer if my friends wanted to chip in. We'd go for a week or two. Now, obviously, I didn't do this for long periods of time because if you rent a house that's like $4 million for longer than like a few days on Airbnb, it's like $20,000 to $30,000 a month. It's a lot of money, right? So we just do it for a couple days and like, splurge a little bit, but not a lot. So one day I'm in LA. At this point, I'd been living there for like 3 or 4 months officially. I actually like had my own apartment there and stuff. And I had a few friends coming in from New York that I was very close with. And I wanted to like, make sure there was enough room for them and enough space. And my little 1-bedroom apartment wasn't really going to be good enough for that. So I thought, okay, you know what? I'm going to splurge a little bit. I'm going to rent one of these pretty cool houses up in the hills for like 3 days. So I did. I went on Airbnb. I found this really sick house. It was beautiful. It was really cool. I rented it for the dates that they were going to be there. And yeah, I locked it in. I was really excited. Now, the day came where they were going to be landing and it was time to check into this Airbnb. And I went there early because my friends weren't in yet and I had to check in and get the keys for the house and stuff. So I went to the Airbnb by myself and I met with the owner to pick up the keys. And when I got there and the owner saw me and how young I was, he was like, "How old are you again?" And I was like 18. He's like, "You're 18 and you're renting this house?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "What do you do for a living?" I was like, "YouTube." He's like, "Oh, you're like a YouTuber." I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "What's your channel?" And I was like, "Luna." He looked it up and he actually subscribed to me on his phone. That was very nice of him. But then he started being kind of like weird. He was like, "Well, I typically only rent my house to people that are 25 and older. I did not see your age on Airbnb. I didn't realize you were that young. Like, I don't really trust teenagers with this nice of a property because I don't know if you're going to throw parties or not. And like, I don't know." And I was like, "Well, listen, man, if you look at my Airbnb history, I've rented a lot of pretty cool places and every review on me is 5 stars. I've never gotten a bad review. I don't rent these houses to trash them and throw huge parties. I promise you, like, I'll let you know who's here and how many people are going to be here. Like, trust me, I'm not one of these people that's going to trash your house." And he kind of hesitated. And he was like, "I don't know. Like, I'm not sure if this is a good idea." And I was like, "Well, if you want to cancel it and refund me, go right ahead. But, I'm kind of in a pinch here. I don't really want to like go and find another place." And he's like, "All right, listen, I'll make you a deal. Okay. You could stay here with your friends under one condition. You either keep the house extremely clean yourselves or you hire maids to come clean it while you're staying here." And I was like, "Sure, deal. That's too easy." Because I didn't think I was that dirty of a person. I can, stay relatively organized and most of my friends can as well. So I wasn't too worried about that. Now after that, he handed me the keys, he told me good luck and to text him if I needed anything, and we went our separate ways. Now after this, I went back to my apartment and I waited for my friends to land, and when they did, I went to the airport with my other friend, picked him up, and then we all drove in a group to the Airbnb and checked in. So in total, it was me, my friend who took me to the airport, and my 2 other friends. So yeah, we had a little crew, right? And when we got to the Airbnb, my friends were fucking dumbfounded. They were like, yo, this place is sick. Holy shit, how'd you find it? And I was like, just the internet, bro. And they were like, this is crazy, bro. Like, we're here for 3 days. Like, this is about to be the best 3 days ever. And we were all really excited, right? I was really stoked too. It was going to be an awesome few days. I was very, very excited, right? So after we got into the Airbnb and checked in and kind of like checked it out for a little bit and like we're there for about 45 minutes, I told my friends about the deal I had to make with the guy because he didn't trust me. I was like, yeah, so only condition of us being here, we have to keep it really, really clean and like not throw parties. And they were like, yeah, too easy. So the first day of staying there was honestly fine. I remember we all hung out on the balcony outside, like the pool area, and just like hung out by the pool. And about like 1 or 2 a.m., I got really, really tired before the rest of my friends. And I was like, yo, guys, I'm going to tap out early. I'm going to go to bed. Hope you guys have a good night. I'll catch you in the morning. And they're like, all right, have a good night, Austin. And I went upstairs. I went to my room and I fell asleep very quick. Now, because I fell asleep before everybody else, I woke up before everybody else the next day. I woke up really early for some reason. I woke up at like 8 or 9 in the morning. I definitely could have slept longer, but I don't know. I was kind of stoked on being in this B&B, and I kind of just wanted to like get up, make some coffee, and go out on the balcony and enjoy this morning, right? So I did. I got up, I went downstairs, and upon arriving downstairs, I see something. The house is fucking trashed. It is absolutely fucked. My friends must have stayed up all night, like just being stupid, and messed up the house. Like there was shit all over the kitchen table. There was shit all over the balcony outside, like food wrappers and like random pieces of furniture were moved around and just like random miscellaneous shit everywhere. I remember I went over to one of the kitchen counters and there was some mystery like sticky stuff on the counter and I was like, what the fuck were they doing last night? Like, what is happening? It looked like red slushy all over the counter, but like no one had a slushy, so I have no idea. And I was like, all right, this is gross. I'm not doing this shit. I'm not cleaning it because I didn't make the mess. So I had 2 choices. I wait for my friends to wake up, whenever that may be, because they probably went to bed at like 6 in the morning, and then have them clean it, which, you know, I'm sure they would, or I go and hire maids. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to wait till they wake up. So I did. Like 3 or 4 hours later, one of my friends woke up and he came downstairs, and I was like, yo, y'all fucking trashed the house. Like, you got to clean this shit. And he was like, don't worry, man, I'm on it. I got it. And then another friend woke up and he came downstairs and I said the same thing to him. And I was like, yeah, man, like you guys kind of fucking trashed the house. You got to clean it up. It was either that or I hired maids and I don't want to hire maids. It's a lot of money. And then my friend looks back at me and he's like, wait, hire maids? That's an option? And I was like, if you want to pay for it, bro, be my guest. I'll call them up right now. And he's like, you know maids? I was like, house cleaners? Yeah, I mean, I don't really like know them like that, but I've met a few through renting Airbnbs, and the guy that owns this house probably has them. I'm sure I could get his. And my friend's like, you know what, man? Honestly, since we're living lavish here and like, you know, enjoying this few days of just like being at this house that we couldn't afford otherwise, let's get the maids. And I was like, okay, you're paying for them? He's like, I'll chip in. And then my other friend's like, yeah, I'll chip in too. We'll go half. So my 2 friends were offering to hire maids to clean up their mess. And I was like, okay. So after this, I hit up the Airbnb host and I was like, hey man, do you like have the number to your cleaners? I would like to hire them for today to come clean the house. And he replied and he was like, unfortunately, man, they're busy today working on my properties, but here's a number to another cleaning service I used to use. They can probably do it. So I called up these people and I was like, hey, I need cleaners to come over today and clean this house. And they were like, sure, what time? And I was like, as soon as possible. And they were like, okay, how about 4 o'clock? To which I was like, sure. And yeah, we were locked in for 4. Now, shortly after I got off the phone, my other friends woke up and now everybody was downstairs and everyone was just hanging out on the balcony again. And I let everybody know that around 4, the cleaners were pulling up, the maids, and we had to probably leave the house to get out of their way. We could stay, but like, I don't know, I didn't want to be there for that. And everyone was okay with that. We had plans to go to the beach for when they were there. And yeah, fast forward to 4 o'clock, the maids pulled up. I met them. Very nice ladies. There was 3 of them. They seemed very sweet. And I told them, like, you know, I appreciate them coming here last minute. And I paid them. And I told them good luck and that we'd be back in like a couple hours. And they're like, all right, sounds good. This should be done by like 5:30. I was like, cool. So after that, me and my friends jumped in my friend's car and we all rode in a group to the beach. Now the beach, not much to say there. It was very fun. Had a good time. I just kicked it on the sand. It was nice, right? Didn't really go in the water, but still, it was fun to be outside. Now after that, 5:30, 6 p.m. rolled around. It was time to leave and go back to the house and see how clean and beautiful it was. So that's what we did. We jumped in my friend's car. We started driving back to the house. And upon arriving to the house, the maids were actually leaving. And we were walking in as they were walking out. And as we were crossing paths, I thanked them again and said I appreciated it. And like the main lady was like, yeah, if you ever need us back here, just let us know. Like, you got our number now. I was like, yep, sounds good. Appreciate it. And they left. Now, upon walking into the house, this shit was spotless. It looked beautiful. It was so clean, so nice, so good, right? I was so happy that my friends, split the cost and hired them. So shout out to my 2 friends out of the group that paid for that, right? Well, after this, I went upstairs to see my room, and my room was looking beautiful, very clean, bed was freshly made, you could smell the cleaning products in the air because they just wiped everything down, and it looked great, right? Now, while I'm in there inspecting my room, seeing how clean everything is, I hear my friend yell from his room. He goes, yo, come here. And I walk into his room, and he's looking very distraught, very upset, and I was like, what's good, man? What's wrong? He's like, bro, those fucking maids, they robbed my ass. I was like, what? What do you mean? He's like, dude, I came in here to check out my room, and I was looking at how good it looked, and I looked down on my nightstand, and my fucking gold chain is missing, bro. It's gone. And I was like, wait, hold on. Like, are you sure? Like, it's not somewhere around the house? Are you sure it's on your nightstand? He's like, yeah, bro, I left it right here. I literally looked at it before we went out. I made sure to leave it here because I didn't want to bring it to the beach and get it all wet and, maybe fuck it up. And I was like, so you left it on the nightstand? He's like, yeah, I did. He's like, bro, I need that back. Like, that was a gift. Like, my grandfather gave that to me. Like, that shit's really sentimental. I can't just get another one. Like, he's gone. He passed away. And I was like, oh, shit. Now, I felt bad for him, right? Because, like, that's fucked up. If someone steals your chain, that's fucked up. If anyone steals anything from you, that's fucked up. However, there was definitely a part of me that wanted to be like, yo, dude, why would you leave a gold chain that has sentimental value to you out in the open like that? Now, obviously, I didn't say that because that'd be mean. And also, even though he left it out in the open, that doesn't give someone the right to steal it. So he was still very much rightfully upset, and nobody had the right to steal his shit. That's fucked up. So I told him, I was like, all right, man, I'll give them a call. I'll see if anyone picked it up or something. In the meantime, look around the room, look around the house, make sure you didn't leave it somewhere else. He's like, bro, I'm telling you, I didn't leave it somewhere else. Like, it was right here on my nightstand. That's where I was going to keep it the whole time. Like, it's supposed to be right here. And I was like, all right, man, well, maybe they moved it, like, look around, make sure they didn't move it either. And he's like, okay. So he starts looking around, and I get on the phone, and I try and call them. And of course, they don't answer. The lady does not answer. And I'm like, fuck. So after this, I go upstairs, and I start helping him look around, and I can't find shit. I don't see any chain. And then while I'm looking for his, I start worrying about mine. I'm like, wait a minute. I also have a chain. It wasn't as nice as his. He had like a special gold chain from his grandfather that passed away. But I had a pretty nice one from Gucci that was like $600 or $700. So I was like, yo, wait a minute. I should probably go make sure that's where it's supposed to be. So I ran into my room, right? And I went up to my suitcase because I would keep it in the suitcase in one of the little like small pouches. And I unzip it. And guess what, guys? My chain is fucking gone. That shit grew legs and it ran away, I guess, because it was not in my suitcase anymore, right where I left it. And guess what else? My bracelet was gone and my shoes were gone. There was a pair of shoes in there as well that were gone. And I was like, oh, fuck. And I knew that they were stolen because I for sure packed them. I literally had them in there earlier that day when I was grabbing stuff for the beach. So they definitely got stolen or moved. So once again, I pull up on my phone. I try calling the cleaners. Nobody answers, right? And I was like, what the fuck, dude? We just got robbed. Like, no. So I went over to my friend's room and I was like, yo, guess what? They stole from me too. And he's like, did they? Really? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, man, fuck, dude. Like, fuck. We shouldn't have hired those motherfuckers. We should just clean the house ourselves. And I was like, I agree. And he was like, all right, well, keep trying to call him. I'll keep looking around. But yeah, I think that shit's gone. And I was like, yeah, me too. And yeah, I kept trying to call them all fucking day and no answer. Just no answer at all. And I got to a point where we just like gave up. We were like, well, guess we got fucking robbed. That sucks. And we kind of just like thought that was it. We were just going to cut our losses and move on. Now, obviously, I probably should have called the cops and been like, hey, we got, stolen from. Someone stole our stuff. Please go get that back. But we just, for some reason didn't want to. I don't know. I had seen police in LA in the past, not take stuff seriously, in my opinion. So I thought they wouldn't take us seriously. And my friends kind of thought the same thing. They were like, they're probably not going to do much for our, small little chains. So whatever, right? So we kind of gave up, right? And the rest of that night, on the second night, we just stayed at the house and kind of were depressed and bummed out that we got our shit stolen. Now, as for everybody else's stuff, everything else seemed to be there. It was just me and my one friend who got our jewelry and my shoes stolen. So yeah, everyone else was fine. Nobody else lost anything. Now fast forward to day number 3. The third and final day of us being at this Airbnb. We woke up, and even though we were all pissed that, some of our stuff got stolen, we thought, okay, let's make the best of this last day. Let's live it up in this house. Let's enjoy it and have a good time and just enjoy ourselves, right? So we had a plan on this day. We were going to wake up, get ready, hit the beach, come back to the house, have lunch, and then go to a shopping mall or whatever and buy some shit and just shop. And then after that, we were going to go back to the house, enjoy the rest of the night there, and that was going to be it, right? So before we headed out, I actually got a text from the Airbnb owner, and he was like, hey man, did you ever get those cleaners? How'd it go? And I immediately called him, and I was like, hey, so yeah, I talked to those cleaners, and I called them and booked them, and they came over, and they actually stole from us. And the host was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I'm missing a chain. My friend's missing a chain. I'm missing a bracelet. I'm missing some shoes. They stole from us. And the owner's like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah, man, I'm serious. And he was like, I am so sorry. I referred you to them. I did not think they would do such a thing. I used to use them all the time, and they never stole any of my guest stuff at any of the Airbnbs, never stole any of my stuff. They've always been really, really good. They must have hired some new people or something. And I was like, it's okay. No big deal. Not your fault. It's theirs. So whatever. And he's like, did you call the police? And I was like, no, we didn't. Honestly, we just didn't think it'd be worth it. We didn't think they would actually do anything. So we just didn't feel like it. And plus my friends are leaving soon. They're not even from LA. They're going to be flying home soon. And this guy's like, all right, listen, I feel horrible. I referred you to this company and they stole from you. So here's what I'm going to do. Give me the combined value of the stuff you lost, and I'll knock it off the Airbnb cost. I'll refund you. And I was like, you don't have to do that. He said, no, I'm gonna. And I was like, dude, thank you. And he did. We tallied it all up, and he knocked a shit ton of money off the Airbnb. We stayed there for almost free. He really hooked it up. So yeah, shout out to the Airbnb owner for being a good dude and having good customer service, hooking it up. And after that, we were in a really good mood, and we just went out and we enjoyed the rest of that day at the Airbnb, and it was a really good day, and everything was going great. And then the nighttime rolled around. Now, we didn't have many plans for the night. We were just going to hang out at the house and kind of just enjoy the rest of the night and then, go to bed and check out the next morning. But my one friend, while we were in the house chilling there, came up with an idea. He's like, yo, we should go out. We should go to a club or something. And I was like, I don't know. Because you guys know me. I've talked about it before. I'm not a club person. I'm not really a going out person and going to giant clubs or bars and stuff. Sometimes I will, but it's not very frequently. So I wasn't really too into it. And on top of that, we were all 18, 19. So most of the clubs in LA were not letting us in. As a matter of fact, probably all the clubs in LA would not let us in. So that idea was kind of cooked, right? We couldn't really do that. But I like the idea of going out and doing something and not just sitting home all night. So I was like, all right, I'll meet you halfway, bro. How about you find something else that's, similar to a club setting? Maybe a concert or something is going on here that we can go to. Maybe we can find a show or something that would let us in. And my friend's like, yeah, that's a good idea. So he starts Googling around and checking all these apps and stuff. And he ends up finding a show that's actually happening 2 miles down the street from us in Hollywood. And the funny part was, it was not a popular artist or something or some artist that anyone would know about. It was just some local show with a bunch of local artists. It was a hip hop show. And we were like, fuck it, let's do it. It's an 18 plus event. It's something to do. Let's do it. So we all jumped in my friend's car and we went down to the event. Now, upon pulling up, there wasn't much of a line or anything. We got in pretty quickly. We get into the venue and we found a nice little spot to chill and stand in the back. And we're watching this show. And let me say, the local artists that were performing there, pretty damn good. pretty sick. There was one that was kind of like a West Coast like hip hop artist. That shit was pretty cool. There was another artist there that made like kind of like emo, sad, like SoundCloud rap kind of shit. Kind of sounded like some of the music I make now. Yeah, pretty cool. And then there was another dude that like just sang. He made like pop music. And that was cool. It was a cool blend of sounds, right? And for most of the show, we were enjoying ourselves and things were going pretty good. When all of a sudden, I see this group of people walk in. Super late, by the way. They walk in for like the last act. Like literally the last person on stage, like mid-performance. Honestly, they probably weren't even pulling up for the show. They were probably just there for the bar because this place was also a bar. And I was right because immediately after this group of people walked in, they went straight to the bar. Now I could see the bar from where I was standing with my friends. And I'm looking at this group of people and it's like 2 girls and 4 guys. And one of the girls looks really familiar. And I was like, why the fuck do I know her? Like, where is she from? Have I seen her at a party before? Is she like a person on social media that I follow? Like, who is this? And I keep looking at her from a distance and like, she just looks so familiar, but it's dark in there. It's hard to like kind of make out who it is. So I kind of just like look the other way and I go back to looking at the show. And then later on, like probably 10 minutes later, that group of people moves into the crowd a little bit and I can see them closer and I get a good look at this girl's face and it hits me. I'm like, yo. That's one of the cleaners. That's one of the motherfuckers that was at my house yesterday cleaning and might have some info on where my chain is, where my friend's chain is, and my bracelet and my shoes. And I see her and like I'm looking at her and then she turns and she sees me. And her face immediately changes when she recognizes who I am. And she looks really, really like nervous. And she turns around and starts trying to walk away. And I'm like, wow, okay, so like, yeah, she knows, right? So immediately I let my friends know. I'm like, yo, that's one of the cleaners. Like she's walking away. And they're all like, holy shit. And I follow her. I go up behind her. She's walking away. I tap her on the shoulder. And I was like, hey. And she turns around. And she's like, hi, can I help you? And I was like, yeah, you cleaned my house yesterday. Like, we all were staying at that Airbnb that you cleaned. And I pointed to my friends. And she was like, oh, yeah, that is you. Worst actor ever. Like, she knew it was me. And I was like, yeah. So weird question. I don't mean to bring this up now, but like I tried calling your boss or whatever and like they didn't answer. I had some stuff go missing and so did my friend. And we just wondered if like you guys might know anything about that. Like we kind of want our stuff back. And she's like, what? Are you serious? And I was like, yeah, like some of our stuff went missing after you guys cleaned. And she was like, I have never stolen anything from a house. Like, I would never do that. Like, I have tons of clients. They could tell you, like, they could vouch. And I was like, I'm not saying you stole anything, but, you know, maybe people you work with did. You know, maybe one of the other ladies. And she goes, okay, like, let me text them. And she pulls open her phone and starts, you know, texting her group chat with her cleaner ladies. And while she's sending the text, I realized something. Her sleeve kind of rolled up a little bit when she was texting. And I see my fucking bracelet on her arm. My fucking LV bracelet's on her arm. And I was like, oh, hey, that's my bracelet. And I pointed to it. And she immediately puts her sleeve down. She's like, no, that's mine. Like, that's my bracelet. I've had that. And I was like, no, roll your sleeve back up. That's mine. And she rolls it up and I look at it and I was like, yep, that's mine. And she's like, no, like we must have the same one because this is mine. Listen, guys, coincidences are a thing, okay? A coincidence can happen, but I really did not believe that she happened to have the same exact bracelet that went missing from my house just a day ago that she cleaned. So I was like, I don't think I believe you. I think you're lying to me right now. And she goes, I'm not lying, I promise. And I was like, okay, well then let's just wait here and let's see what your friends say. And we stand there for about 5 minutes and her like group of friends come over. These like 4 dudes and her other friend. And this one guy like tries to act tough and he's like, who's this guy? Is he bothering you? And I was like, nope, not bothering her. Just want to know where my stuff is. And then my other friend chimed in, the one that has stuff missing as well. And he was like, yep, me and his stuff is gone after her team cleaned our house that we're renting. So like, yeah, we just want to know where our stuff's at. And this guy starts trying to like press us. He's like, are you accusing my friend of stealing your shit? She would never steal anything. Like, she's a good person. Like, that's fucked up. And he's like kind of getting up in my face, right? And like my friend's face. And then my other friends, they start kind of like getting up in his face. And it's kind of like getting tense, right? Like you got kind of a group versus a group. And I was like, yo, calm down. Like, the situation doesn't even involve you. We're not going to like do anything. We just want to get our stuff back. That's all. And he's like, well, maybe you lost your stuff. You ever think of that? And I was like, no, we didn't lose our stuff. Like, these cleaners came over and miraculously my shit went missing. So I don't think it just disappeared. I think someone took it. And this guy's like, well, I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. And then right after he says that, the woman, the one that had my bracelet on, was like, hey, my boss just replied, yeah, we can give you your things back. And I was like, oh, so you guys did take our stuff. And she goes, yeah, we did. I'm sorry. And I was like, at least you admitted it. Can I please have my bracelet back? And she takes it off and she hands it to me. And I'm like, in my head, like, holy shit, she actually gave it back. And I was like, yo, thank you. Like, thank you for doing the right thing. I appreciate you being honest. And she's like, yeah, no problem. The rest of your guys' stuff is at my friend's house. So do you want to go there together and grab it? And I turned around, I looked at my friends and they were like, sure. Now I ain't gonna lie. I didn't like the idea of this. I didn't like getting in the car and following them to wherever they were taking us. I just had a bad feeling. I thought this could go very bad very quick. And yeah, I didn't want to do it, to be honest. I kind of just wanted to like leave. But at the same time, I also wanted my friend to get his chain back that belonged to his grandfather. So I was like, okay, let's do it. So we got into our car and they got into their car and they start driving and we're following them to this random address. It was one of the cleaners' houses to get our stuff back. And we end up driving like a good 10 to 15 miles. It was a pretty far drive for LA standards. And yeah, after like 30 to 40 minutes of driving, we finally get to this house on this sketchy ass street in this sketchy ass neighborhood at this sketchy ass house that looked like it was about to topple over. It looked like you could blow on it once and the house would fall over. And I remember like we pulled in this driveway and I was like, yo, I don't like this one fucking bit. And my other friend was like, yeah, this is kind of sketch. And everyone in the car ahead of us, you know, like the cleaner lady and her friends, they get out. And the girl that had my bracelet, she came up to the window and she's like, hey, just wait here. We're going to go in and get your stuff. We'll bring it out to you. And I was like, okay. And they go into the house. And about a minute later, I shit you not, 8 fucking dudes come out, 3 of which have weapons. One has a baseball bat. One has a giant piece of like piping. I don't even know where he got that shit. And the other one had a giant brick. And all of these motherfuckers are walking towards our car very quickly, very much intending to hurt us. So of course, my friend throws that shit in reverse instantly and floors it. We still had the car on. We didn't turn it off. So my friend fucking floors it in reverse. We're flying out of the driveway. My friend's like, what the fuck? And my other homie in the back's like, go, 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 go. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? And my friend puts it in drive and we start driving down the neighborhood road as fast as we can away from this group of random dudes that were about to fuck us up. And we lose them pretty quick because they're running on foot and we're driving. Thank fuck we had the car like on already, by the way. Like if my friend turned the car off and he had to like turn it on and then put it in reverse, we might have been having a much different situation. They might have like bashed our windshield in and beat the shit out of us. But we got out of there, luckily. And as soon as we got like off that neighborhood road, my one homie that was driving was like, yo, they set us up. And I was like, yeah, I could see that. And yeah, they did. Literally, that fucking girl probably like got in the car with her friends and they were like, all right, let's go to our other friend's house and like get more dudes and like, let's just scare the shit out of these guys and beat them up. So after we drove away and we were like coming down from the adrenaline and like just calming down, I looked over at my friend in the back and I was like, yo, what do you want to do? Because like, obviously they still have your necklace and stuff. Like, I know you want to get that back. So like, what do you want to do? And he's like, honestly, bro, I'm just going to cut my losses and move forward because I don't want to press that issue at all. And honestly, man, I could not blame him and I couldn't agree more. There's a lot of stories on this channel where I'm like, yeah, and then we went and got revenge. And it's like, nah, not today, because these motherfuckers had like 8 dudes and they had weapons and who knows what else they were capable of. So I completely understood when my homie was like, nah, I'm good. I'm just going to let them keep it. Now the story doesn't end there. Even though my homie didn't want to go and, press the issue and try and get his chain back, it doesn't end there. So fast forward, we get back to the house, the Airbnb, and like I said, it was our last night. And at this point, we were just like tapped out. We didn't want to do anything. We just got chased by 8 people with weapons type shit. Like we didn't want to do anything. So we ended up just going to bed. Like we got home and everyone just went to bed. Now me, I couldn't sleep. And that was for one specific reason. These people knew where we lived. And it just hit me after everyone went to sleep. I remember I laid down And like, I was in bed for like 30, 40 minutes. And then I was like, wait a minute. They know where I live. Like, they know what Airbnb I'm at. Like, they could show up. So now I'm freaking out and I'm just like staying awake. I'm like, I'm not going to go to sleep because if they pull up or something and they try and break in, I need to be awake. So yeah, I ended up laying in bed, paranoid as fuck for like 8 hours, checking the security cameras outside and like, you know, looking around every window, making sure no cars pulled up because at any point, that girl, the one that had my bracelet, the one that was a part of the cleaning crew that stole from us, and the one that led us to that trap, you know, she knew the Airbnb address of where we were staying. So at any point, they could have pulled up. Now, luckily, that whole night, nobody pulled up. That was good, right? And yeah, the next morning rolled around and it was time to check out. And we did. We checked out of the Airbnb. I remember just when we were about to pull out of the driveway and leave the Airbnb and like check out, another car pulled in and it was the cleaners that the Airbnb host hired. Not the ones that stole from us, but the actual crew he would use. And I remember I rolled down my window and I was like, hey guys, like, yeah, we're all checked out. Go on in. Like, if you see anything left behind that we might have forgot, just let us know. And this girl was like, yeah, don't worry. We won't steal anything like that one crew did. Like, they knew about it, which is funny. Like, the host must have told them. Anyway, after this, we drove back to my apartment for a little bit. And then like a few hours later, it was time for my friends to fly out, which they did. They flew out. And I really thought that was the end of it. I thought I would never hear anything about this again. At the end of the day, we'll just, you know, we'll take our losses. I got my bracelet back at least. I didn't get my chain or my shoes or, you know, my homie's necklace, but at the end of the day, at least something came of it. Now after this, after my friends flew back home and I was just back in my apartment alone in LA, a few days go by when all of a sudden I get a phone call and the number looks familiar. I didn't have it saved in my contacts, but for some reason it looked familiar. And I answer it and I was like, hello. And this guy goes, hey, Austin, like, I'm your Airbnb host from a few days back. Remember me? I was like, yeah, of course. And I was like, what's up? And I thought he was about to tell me, like, that we, like, didn't clean the house good enough or that maybe I left something behind. And he's like, so I have some good news. I think I found one of your guys' like, jewelry pieces that you thought got stolen. And I was like, wait, what? He goes, yeah, let me send you a picture. And he sends me a picture. And it's literally the chain that belonged to my friend that his grandfather gave him that had like a ton of sentimental value, like literally the chain. And I was like, what the fuck? Where'd you find it? He's like, it was between the wall and the headboard of the bed. I'm guessing he fell asleep with his chain on or something. It fell down or maybe it fell off the nightstand. I don't know. And I was like, holy shit. I'm like, I'll tell him right now. And he goes, yeah, for sure. Just let me know like if you want to come pick it up and mail it to him or I can mail it to him. And I was like, yeah, I'll come get it. I'll come get it right now. And he texted me an address and I ended up Ubering over there and grabbing it. And yeah, I sent my friend a photo of it with it in my hand. And I was like, look what I found. And he goes, what the fuck? How'd you get it back? And I was like, the Airbnb host found it. It was in between the bed and the wall. And he was like, what? I was like, yeah, bro, it never got stolen to begin with. He's like, what the fuck? Like, let's go. And he was super excited. I was very happy for him. So that was some good news. So now only my shit got stolen because all my other friends, they reported nothing missing. My one friend got his chain back. And now the only thing missing from the house that day was my shoes and my chain. So at this point, the only person taking an L was me. Now, I know you're thinking that's got to be the end, right? The story's got to end there. He got his chain back. That's a happy ending. You got your stuff stolen, Luna. Oh, well, you just, ate the cost and took the L on the chin and kept moving. Nah, dude, it gets even better. So fast forward about 5 months later, okay? At this point, I'm not even thinking about this situation. It's in the past. I'm not thinking about my missing chain or my shoes or anything, right? Whatever. Well, 5 months later, I'm in my apartment. I just finished working on a video. I uploaded the video. And I was just sitting on my computer, like scrolling YouTube, watching videos, just like brain rotting, right? When all of a sudden, I get a text. And it was from my friend from LA. We'll just call her Sarah, okay? Sarah was a new friend of mine. I had met her like a month prior through a mutual friend. And she was really cool, like really fun to hang out with. And if there's one thing you need to know about Sarah, I could tell just off the first day I met her, she was not the kind of person to fuck with. Like, she was one of them people, if you fucked her over, she's fighting you. So, yeah, she texted me on this night and she was like, hey, I'm trying to do something tonight. Are you down? And I was like, depends on what it is. Like, what do you want to do? And she's like, I want to go out. And I was like, okay, where do you want to go? And she's like, a bar. Now, once again, like I said earlier in the story, I wasn't 21. I didn't have a fake ID or anything. I'm not trying to like get kicked out of a bar or like arrested or something for sneaking into one. So I told her, I was like, I'd be down, but like, I can't get into bars. I don't have an ID and I'm not 21. And she was like, okay, well, how about like, I don't know, we go to a restaurant or something. And I was like, sure, why not? I like food. And she was like, cool, do you want to go to this diner? And she sends me like a location. And it was like this cool looking diner, looked pretty cool. It was like open 24/7, not far from where I lived. I was like, sure, that sounds fun. She was okay, cool, I'll come pick you up in like 10 minutes. I was like, bet. So yeah, she picked me up. 10 minutes later, I get in the car. We go to the diner. We're just sitting there, looking at the menu, checking out food. And this place did like a little bit of everything. They had breakfast food, dinner food, that kind of thing. Now your boy was craving pancakes, so that's what I ordered. And she got something else. She got like some sandwich or something. And yeah, the waitress put our order in, and we're just sitting there at this table, waiting for our food, talking, right? Now, about 20 minutes into being there, this group of people walk in. And guess who it is? It's all of the people that cleaned my Airbnb that day. It's the whole crew that fucking stole from me. All the girls were there. And they go in and they get a table. And the table that they got was like literally right across from us. And I like leaned over to my homie, Sarah, and I was like, guess what? That table right there are a bunch of maids. They're house cleaners. And they stole from me at my Airbnb. And she goes, really? I was like, yeah, really. And she goes, you want me to say some shit? And I was like, honestly, at this point, my chain and my shoes are probably long gone. There's no point. And she goes, okay, well, if they even look in this direction, I'm saying some shit. And I was like, fair enough. Now, I kind of keep glancing over there and looking at their table to see if like they're looking at me because we were so close together. I really knew that it was only a matter of time before they noticed that it was me. But every time I glanced over, they weren't looking in my direction. So that was good, I guess. But yeah, I kept glancing over at their table and just thinking to myself, like, yo, why are they here? Like, why are all of these maids here? Like the same maids that stole from me. If I had to guess, they were probably like, you know, just getting done with a job. They probably just got done cleaning a house. And by cleaning a house, I mean stealing a brand new necklace and probably cashing it in at a pawn shop to buy food with. But yeah, they probably just got done cleaning a house and they were probably just getting dinner afterwards or something. But yeah, every time I looked over there, they weren't looking at me. And finally, I was just like, okay, you know what? I'm going to stop looking over there. I'm just going to go back to like hanging out with Sarah, right? Now, me and Sarah, we're talking about some random shit. Can't even remember, but we're talking. And all of a sudden, I see Sarah glance over in their direction. And she just goes, who the fuck are you looking at? And I look, and she's talking to the girl that had my bracelet on that one night. The same one that we ran into at that, you know, bar and like led us back to that trap. And this girl goes, I'm not looking at anyone. And then Sarah goes, nah, you're staring at me. I saw that shit. So why don't you look in the other direction? And this girl goes, I don't know who the fuck you think you are, but I wasn't looking at you. And Sarah goes, yeah, you were. Turn around. And then the girl, before she could say anything back, she looks over at me and she notices that it's me. And she like makes that face again, that same face that I saw that night at the concert / bar or whatever. And she's looking super surprised, right? And I go, hey, long time no see. And she goes, yeah, last time I saw you, you ran away like a pussy. And I'm like, oh, yeah? Because you had 8 dudes fucking chase us. And she laughs and goes, yeah, and you ran like a bunch of pussies. You drove away. And I'm looking around, and the other girls at the table, the other cleaners, they're looking at me with the same face, just like real surprised, real guilty looking, because they also probably stole my shit. And Sarah stands up from our table, our booth, and she goes, yeah, he's a pussy for running away. Guess what? I'm not. And she whines back and just fucking clocks this girl. Like, no hesitation, no anything, just punches her out of her chair. And she gets up, and all the other girls get up, and they start like 1v3ing Sarah. Now, this is a really crazy situation because it's all girls, right? If it was a bunch of dudes, I would have hopped in and like helped Sarah because that wouldn't be very good. But it was like a 1v3 and they're all girls. But honestly, bro, Sarah didn't need any help. She was 1v3ing them, and I'm not fucking kidding when I say this. She was winning by a landslide, bro. Like, she was beating ass, bro. It was insanely like crazy and honestly impressive how good of a fighter she was. I think she like secretly did MMA or something as a child because she was like straight up ground fighting. Like, she had them all on the ground and was like winning. It was crazy. Anyway, after like a minute, it got broken up because there was a whole staff working at this restaurant that didn't want that to happen, obviously. So they broke it up. But that 1 minute, it felt like an eternity with how hard Sarah was kicking ass. Anyway, they broke it up. And me and Sarah are like on one side and all these girls on the other side. And they're screaming at us, like yelling a bunch of crazy shit. Like they're going to come find us. They're going to do this, this, and that. They said a lot of stuff I can't even say in this video because I'll get demonetized. But like they were threatening us. They were threatening our lives essentially. And honestly, it kind of freaked me out because like the one girl, like I said, she brought me to that sketchy ass area and like they had like 8 dudes there. And you know, her threats might not be so empty. That's what freaked me out. But what's done was done. Couldn't really take back the fight that happened. And honestly, Sarah she won. Anyway, after the whole thing got broken up and, you know, we were yelling back and forth at each other, the staff kicked me and Sarah out because Sarah threw the first punch. So yeah, we got kicked out. And after we got kicked out, we got in Sarah's car. And the first thing I did was be like, yo, are you okay? And she's like, I'm fine. And I was like, are you sure? She's like, yeah, I'm good. And she looked fine. She didn't look like a scratch was on her. I just want to make sure she was good. And she was like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, it's all good. And I remember just sitting there in the parking lot for a minute, and Sarah's like, I can't believe the restaurant didn't call the cops. And I was like, yeah, me neither. Which was a really good point. Like, I couldn't believe that the staff at this diner, like, didn't call the police. Like, usually a fight between multiple people break out, cops are there, like, next minute. But for some reason, they just didn't call the cops. They just kicked us out, and, like, the other girls got to stay, and that was it. But anyway, we sat in the parking lot for a minute or two, and then we were like, all right, let's get out of here. And we drove back to Sarah's house for a little bit. And then one of her friends came over and we hung out there and just like kicked it for a little bit and talked about what happened. And the rest of that day was completely normal. Like, it's so weird. It went from being like an insane fight to just like back to normal. And that was it. I remember like I never saw those girls again for the remainder of the time that I was living in LA, which honestly surprised me because LA, like as big of a city as it is, if you're like in Hollywood, you run into a lot of the same people a lot. So I was surprised I didn't see them after this. But I didn't, which I guess is probably a good thing. But I never got my chain back, never got my shoes back. But to be honest, I'd say we were pretty much even. Because while they got my shoes and my chain, they got their ass kicked pretty bad by Sarah. So yeah, I'm not going to say shout out to Sarah and condone violence because you guys know me, I don't condone violence. But after the fade that Sarah ran them all, I'd probably say that we were pretty even. And at that point, I didn't even care about my chain or my shoes because I just wanted this shit to be done. And honestly, after that fight, it was done. But yeah, in the end, my homie got his necklace back. He never even got it stolen. My stuff did get stolen. But I got my bracelet back and then chased by those dudes. And then Sarah put the nail in the coffin by fighting all of them and winning. So pretty crazy unfolding of events, right? Like this is not even like one story. It's like fucking 3 or 4. It's crazy. But I thought you guys would enjoy hearing about it. And I know I enjoyed telling it. So that's the end. Moral of the story is if you ever stay at an Airbnb and you have cleaners there or like, you know, you don't trust someone around your stuff, make sure you hide it well or you keep it somewhere where it's not going to get taken or maybe bring it with you when you're out of the house. You know, just be safe. Be aware of where you're putting your things. That's all. And don't follow people to sketchy areas. That's another good moral of the story. And finally, if this ever happens to you, if someone ever steals your stuff, just call the fucking cops, bro. Like, don't do what we did. This could have been so bad. Like, I think about that one night where like the dudes came out with the bat and the pipe and the brick. Like, they could have actually destroyed us. Like, we could have died. So yeah, in the end, don't do what we did. But yeah, guys, that's the end of the story. Very crazy one. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I would really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I will see you all later. Peace.